Hi there, welcome to my channel. It's Krista here doing a weekly reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you don't know your Moon and Rising sign, Leo, you can check the description box for a link to Always Astrology. Just plug in your information there and it will let you know your entire birth chart. If for any reason this reading doesn't resonate with you, you can check your Rising or Moon sign readings for the week and see if they help. That being said, I really hope that this reading does resonate with you, Leo, and that you are able to take something healing from this reading this week. So this is for the week of May 8th to the 14th. And information about the cards I'm using and how to contact me and my ebook are in the description box as well. I'll be using the Medicine Card Tarot, Wisdom of the Oracle Tarot, and the Healing with the Angels Tarot. Doing the same reading I did last week, the same spread with the central card and two qualifying cards to the left and right, and then bottom of the deck for general energy for the week, and drawing additional messages from the other decks for you. So Leo, I wish for you all success, joy, and wellness. I invoke spirits of love, light, and beauty. I call upon archangels Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. I call upon Mother Gaia to please bless this reading for Leo. So I'm always looking for jumper cards here, Leo. There you go, card number 1. All right, in the central position we have the opossum. And the opossum's key word is diversion. Pardon me. So perhaps, obviously without looking at any other additional cards here, we have a situation, Leo, where you could be in the midst of or attempting to divert from something that's uncomfortable this week, whether or not you're conscious of that. Okay, so sometimes card readings brings things that are hidden or subconscious to the foreground as well. So if you weren't aware that you were doing this or that you were behaving this way or even have this energy around you this week, Leo, you could be encountering feelings or elements of a diversion, whether this is you performing this or you being the recipient of diversion. Wow, those cards went all over the place. So give me a second. Let me put these back in my hand. Now, when I say jumpers, I mean one at a time. So, all right, let's keep shuffling. You know, the further into the readings I get, you know, the more often I do this, I mean, the lengthier I want to make the readings. I feel like at 20 minutes, it's generally too long for viewers. But if any Leos out there are enjoying a longer tarot reading, despite the shuffling, some people enjoy it. I really enjoy the shuffling. But if you're looking for a longer reading, let me know in the comment section, and I might finagle a different reading next time and do maybe a Celtic spread or just a 5-card spread or something like, I mean, this is a general reading, right? So I'm not answering any specific question, but we could do specific question spreads for 1 week at least. We could do a spread specifically for romance or for finance or what have you. So let me know if you're looking for something in particular in a general manner, Leo. Otherwise, whatever is prominent in your life this week is what I'll encourage you to apply these general messages to. So we're just looking for 2 more jumper cards here for the right and to the left of the card diversion. It It could be about self-protection as well. This isn't about necessarily, without other cards around, this isn't necessarily on its face trying to get away with something, okay? That would be akin to the Seven of Swords in the traditional tarot, and that's not what I'm seeing yet. So to the right of opossum, we have the horse, and the horse's keyword is power. So you could be trying to protect power. Again, this is, if it's not conscious or if you're unaware of this, pardon me, this behavior, this could be subconscious or going on around you, or it could be a power play, excuse me, around you. But the point of the diversion is regarding a sense of power. So whether or not you're trying to withhold power or you're trying to maintain power over a situation, trying to divert away from what's going on within that role of power. Excuse me. So let's see what else is going to show up on the side to the left of opossum, and then we'll look at general energy at the bottom of the deck and get a really clear view of what you can expect this week. I keep coming back to this sense of this being a subconscious element in your life right now. I don't think you are necessarily in a general sense aware of a sense of diversion or trying to skirt around something. Again, not get away with something, but trying to get around something, or trying to play up a sense of power or commitment or control or longevity or even levity. It was a sense of being liked and likable. It could be that this is being maintained at the expense of something else. So something else is being buried, perhaps. It doesn't even necessarily need to be bad or horrible or anything like that. Please don't take that from this. It just means you don't want to fess up about something, or you don't want to be clear right now about something in particular. And again, it could very well be subconscious. So it could be just about asking yourself questions this week, Leo, about what you could be avoiding here. And again, in a general sense, depending on what is prominent in your life this week, whether it's romance, finance, travel, personal health, etc., etc., it looks like this, whatever is being diverted from, really needs a little bit of attention this week. So maybe just ask some questions about what you could be diverting from this week, Leo. And then to the left of the opossum, we have turkey, and turkey's keyword is giveaway. If you're thinking sacrifice, the sacrificial bird, what everyone celebrates, uses to celebrate Thanksgiving, for example, that's another good way to look at it, generally speaking, is the sense of sacrifice. However, it doesn't need to happen, because as we all know, any of my vegans out there, we all know that nutritionally we actually don't need. Human beings don't require these types of sacrifices in order to stay healthy or even to live at all. If you're starving, in fact, if you're doing without anything and you're about to starve, and the only thing keeping you from death is a sacrifice, right? To sacrifice something or someone else. If you're desperate, in other words, of course, that's what a true sacrifice is. Something needs to be sacrificed. However, for pleasure, for delight, for habit, etc., this isn't necessary anymore, okay? So if there's any issues around self-sacrifice or the sacrifice of something or someone else in order to ostensibly maintain a position of power, maintain comfort, maintain habits, etc., it's no longer necessary to do this anymore, okay, Leo? So at the bottom of the deck, Leo, we do have the mountain lion. You can see they're extremely fierce. They're either protecting someone, or they're, they're in front of someone or something whom they're protecting, or they are being aggressive. So this is something to look out for. The mountain lion's keyword, Leo, is leadership. So Not a bad card, not a bad attitude, not a bad energy. Again, none of these cards on their own are bad, right? Just like no astrological sign is bad. It's the way things are used. It's the way these tools are used, these attitudes and behaviors. So like I said briefly, if you feel like you're in front of something and you're protecting something, I would continue to go ahead and do that. Okay, that is showing leadership and you're doing the right thing. If for whatever reason there is an imbalance of power here, and you're not in front of anything and you're simply just being aggressive for the sake of being aggressive, pardon me, or you aren't aware of this type of aggression, this is a highlight for the week for you to take a look at any tendencies toward aggression this week. Okay, Leo? If this is the difference, however, between getting something done and not getting something done, though, if you're protecting an idea, something that is really, truly important and even sacred to you, and without this behavior, you, at least for the time being, at least for the coming week, you would be bulldozed, or someone else would take over, or you wouldn't be able to achieve what you need to achieve this week without this element of relative aggression. You know what? I don't normally say this, but I would keep it up, okay? Just remember, for example, that you don't need to abuse power. Okay, this element, this comes naturally to you, so this isn't something that you need to force. And I mean this for all Leos, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Nothing about Leos need to be forced, okay? Like, you're really effervescent. You're sunny. You're really hot energy. I just mean hot in terms of fiery, active energy. There's nothing you need to prove here, okay? However, like I said, if there's something you truly feel like without doing this week especially, you're not going to get what you need, or you can't protect yourself or someone else, continue, all right? Just be aware of power imbalances if that's the case. So let's take a look a little bit closer at the central position card. Again, I said we have the opossum. Really gentle little animal, as you can see, but they're always trying to get away, okay? They're always protecting something, and this is why I'm bringing up the sense of protection here. And because I mentioned early on in the reading that this could be a subconscious attitude or subconscious behavior, I'm going to ask all my Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising this week to ask what they could be trying to divert from. It's worth some questions this week about why you might be behaving this way when you don't need to, for example, or if there's an imbalance of power, why you would be engaging in an imbalance of power when you know in your heart of hearts, if it were done to you, automatically unfair. In any other situation, automatically unfair, okay? So take a look at this behavior here. Make sure that it is fair. You're not putting something over on someone, trying to divert someone's attention from looking at perhaps you or your behavior or your attitudes, motives, or plans more closely. In the sense that if you were to reveal to someone else, or even to yourself, if this is a private matter to yourself, that nothing bad's going to happen for looking at it more closely, okay? There's no threat here, Leo. Pardon me, to you or to whomever or whatever you feel you're protecting this week. There's really, what I'm seeing here is that if you perceive a threat, if you feel diversion is necessary, again, even if it's subconscious, take a look at this because it doesn't need to happen. All right. To the right of opossum, we have the horse. Again, the horse's keyword is power. Power simply is a tool. How is it being used? Okay, so next to the leadership card, we could have an imbalance of power, something that's being a little bit more aggressive than it needs to be this week, Leo. On the other hand, like I said, if this is about protection, you do need to divert this week for protection. Make sure that no one's being left out, even if you have to say to someone or to yourself, I don't want to get into it this week. I don't want to look at this week. I need to plow through this week, and I'll look at it later. I'll look at it with you later. I'll address this later. Just make sure that no one feels bulldozed this week, okay, Leo? Including you. If this is energy that is around you and you're not projecting this energy, make sure that you take the other individual up on this in a gentle way, okay? If you feel like there's an imbalance of leadership, power and leadership here, if you feel like someone's behaving more aggressive than they need to, if they're diverting you from something that you ought to be privy to, take them up on that this week in a gentle way, all right? Stand up for yourself in a gentle way, and I would even add use humor. Leos are very, like I said, effervescent, you can be very comical, and you probably more than any other sign can unnerve and disarm a situation using humor. So if that's the case this week, Leo, use your humor, use a smile and a light touch, and you'll get to what you need and want faster. So again, to the left of the opossum, we have the turkey card. Turkey's keyword is giveaway, and like I mentioned as I laid the card down, this is an issue of sacrifice, okay? So questions around what is being sacrificed out of habit, out of pleasure, out of even, I'm going to suggest status here. I've got two really heavy status cards. So questions around why you're participating in something that involves aggression, asking questions around why you would be diverting from another issue. Perhaps it's just not the time. Simply and 100%, perhaps it's just all my Leos out there are saying, yeah, I know. I'm not looking at it this week. I'll look at it next. And if that's the case, beautiful. Keeping on. However, this just means if you're not aware of this type of thing, to take a look at it. And if you are engaging in something that does involve a sacrifice, that is an imbalance of power, please take a look at this more closely. It looks as though this behavior can be undone, okay? It looks like if there is a sacrifice going on, and again, a sacrifice of time, of energy, of pleasure, or a sacrifice of someone else's time, energy, pleasure, or with the physical body here in terms of an actual turkey, in terms of sacrificing someone else's entire life for your own habits, taste, pleasure. Okay, we know now that we don't need to do that. So perhaps for the first time ever, Leo, you could be asking questions or interested in not behaving in a manner that is subconscious or even unconscious. This could be a week for you where you're delving into things that you've taken for granted, and you're going to look deeply at something, even if it's one thing this week that is habitual for you, that you may not want to participate in anymore, okay? And the beautiful part of this is, I will finish with, this is about setting someone free, okay? In that regard, this is probably one of the most beautiful spreads I've seen in a long time. A giveaway or a sacrifice could mean your own, okay? In order to protect someone else's life. Even, again, and maybe this is out in left field, but if this is someone's physical life, if this is about, no, I'm not going to purchase this anymore, that was someone's life. Now you're talking about making sacrifices in your own life. You're willing to sacrifice your own sense of pleasure. Now, trust me, as a vegan for 15 years, you can find these flavors somewhere else. If it's not a physical body, you can find these attributes, these pleasures somewhere else. You don't need to take, okay? So that being said, wow, this got late fast. Okay, so let's draw some additional cards here. I'm trying to keep this under 20 minutes, but there was just a lot going on in those cards there. So really interesting for you this week, Leo. I think you're really contemplating something significant and deep for you, something that's specific to you. I don't, unless we draw some highly spiritual overarchingly spiritual cards here. I just see this being sort of an intellectual exercise about habits, about power, and about what is being sacrificed or what is being used and the real cost of that, okay? So it's really lovely. It's intellectual exercise is always wonderful, particularly when we are privy to new information, Leo. Again, if this isn't about your food habits, for example, or about the lives of animals, and it could very well not be, if this is about something very specific in a general sense to you this week, you could be privy to new information that's causing you to question these habits and beliefs, okay? Or the idea of sacrifice and what, you know, giving away means. So like I said, we're just going to draw a card each from these decks to see if there's any additional messages for this spread. I think I used this deck for the last general spread. I'm going to try to switch them up so it keeps a little fresh. And they're all really beautiful and unique in their own way, so I do like to do that. All right, so we had orphaned jump out related to this spread. Again, with the sense of sacrifice here, you could be feeling a little bit out of sorts. You could be feeling left behind. Perhaps this is why you're involved in so much self-protection this week, or you feel like you need to be extra aggressive. Perhaps you've put yourself in this position so that you're left alone with yourself a little while this week. But certainly with the diversion and the orphaned, it seems like you may be suffering unnecessarily by yourself. Okay, and you don't need to do this. If you believe that this is your sentence of sacrifice, this is unnecessary to do this. On the other hand, if you are doing this to someone else or you're projecting this to someone else, and you know you're resisting them or rejecting them, I think the central position would be saying, you know, what are you trying to save yourself from? What are you trying to avoid in this situation? Or like I said, on the other hand, if you're feeling orphaned, this could be a sense of, I feel like I'm out of the pack. Something's different about my pack here. Sometimes when we change our minds about habits, or if we incorporate new information into our lives, and our habits or opinions, even pleasures change, and you're the only person that's doing it at that time, you can feel really isolated. It can feel isolating, but I think it's just part of the process as well, of learning something new and incorporating something new. This isn't lasting, obviously. It's not a really damaging card. It is a gray card, so you could be feeling down or even gray about some things this week. I know in my circumstance, when I learned new information that I began to apply, I actually, because I was ignorant of it to begin with and realized due to the ignorance, I had been in process of hurting someone else or sacrificing unnecessarily. I think there is a normal element of sadness involved, or even, you know, regret, or, you know, just this sense of, you know, why didn't I know this before? How couldn't I have known this? Or why wasn't this important to me before? So please, if that's at all the case for you, Leo, this week, please don't beat yourself up about that. This is the whole point about new information. You didn't have it before, so how could you have known? So please don't beat yourself up about it. If you feel sad or down about any particular issue this week, in a general sense, anything that's prominent in your life, Leo, please seek guidance or a good friend, some comfort this week, because there's really no need to suffer in silence. You might even meet someone else who feels the same way you do. You might even begin conversations or dialogue with individuals whom you didn't know before, and you know, oh, they're going through it, like a forum right? Or a chat group, or even someone in person if possible, and just talk about this feeling or this sense of what's going on, okay, in general for you. Wow, 25 minutes. Okay, let's get another card here for you, Leo. Swear to gosh, don't mean for it to be that long. All right, children jumped out. So this is something as simple as one or the other. This is about children in your life. If this is affecting something specific to a child in your life, I would apply all of this information that I mentioned throughout the reading to this child, to your relationship with this child very particularly. If a child is not involved, or children is not involved within the confines of this reading, I would suggest that this is about your inner child, okay? This is, especially next to the orphan, this is you having to take really important, good care of your inner child this week, Leo, okay? If you feel down for whatever reason this week, even if it's circumstantial or you're giving yourself a hard time or whatever the case may be, please give yourself extra care, extra love, slow down if you can, and really get to the heart of your inner child. If you can imagine her or him at the age of 3 or 4 and see him or her sad or crying or feeling alone, and do what you can in that moment, even if it's brief, to protect and love and stroke and hug that child, soothe that child within, okay? This is really important for you this week, Leo. I'm sorry if you're struggling this week, but please know that you are incredibly strong and you can get through anything. Just have patience with yourself, reach out for help if you can, and take good care of yourself this week, Leo. I hope this helped you. Please let me know what you think about the reading in the comments. I really look forward to seeing you next week for your next week's reading, and in the meantime, take good care of yourself, Leo. See you next time.